When you think of breast milk, you probably think a baby's first meal. Simple enough, right? But what if it's way more than that? What if it's like a living, intelligent medicine, a biological masterpiece that honestly we're still just scratching the surface of? Today, we're going to dive deep into the incredible science of breast milk.
So, yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? Is it just a convenient meal on demand, or is it something far more complex, something truly incredible? Let's get into the science, because the answer is pretty mind blowing. And hey, this isn't just an opinion. The science literally calls it the single most effective way to ensure infant survival, optimal growth, and maternal health. That's a huge statement. We're not talking about a simple lifestyle choice here. This is a fundamental piece of public health with some seriously profound implications.
Okay, so let's start with the baby. How exactly does breast milk lay out this blueprint for a healthy life? Well, it really comes down to a powerful combination of three key things.
It's a perfect source of nutrition, of course, but it's also a personalized immune shield and a major boost for long-term development. Okay, let's break down each one of these pillars.
The key word here is adapting. This is so cool. Breast milk isn't some static recipe. It's this dynamic fluid that literally changes day by day. And get this, even during a single feeding, all to meet the baby's exact changing needs. It's incredible.
And this is where that protective magic really kicks in. A mother passes on her very own antibodies. Think of them as tiny microscopic defenders straight to her child. This gives the baby a pre-packaged defense system against all sorts of common and frankly serious infections right out of the gate.
And these benefits, they don't just stop after infancy. We're talking about a lifetime of advantages. Key components, like the crucial long-chain fatty acids, DHA and RA, are literally the building blocks for the brain. The data shows a super clear link to better health way into adulthood, including a lower risk of things like obesity and type 2 diabetes. All right, so we've seen what it does, but how on earth does it do it? Let's pull back the curtain and look under the microscope at the secret ingredients that make breast milk, what many people call liquid gold, so unbelievably powerful.
It all boils down to these four main categories. You've got your basics, right? The macronutrients and the micronutrients. But then you get to the really wild stuff. These incredible bioactive compounds and actual living cells. Yeah, living cells. That's what makes it totally unique. The macronutrients are just perfectly balanced. The carbs, like lactose, provide that immediate energy, while these other special sugars, called oligosaccharides, act as prebiotics for all the good bacteria in the gut. Then you've got proteins to build tissue, and fats like DHA that are literally building the baby's brain and eyes. Let's just zoom in on one of these amazing bioactive compounds, lactoferrin. You can think of it like a tiny security guard inside the milk. It's a protein that grabs onto iron, basically hiding it from nasty bacteria that need that iron to survive. It's such a clever built-in defense system. And like we said, the milk adapts. This chart shows you just how much it evolves in only the first couple of weeks. It kicks off as this thick, antibody-packed colostrum, then it shifts into a higher volume transitional milk, and finally settles into mature milk for that long-term growth and immunity. Calling colostrum the first vaccine is, honestly, it's the perfect way to describe it. It's the super concentrated, high-impact dose of immune protection that basically jumpstarts a newborn's defenses for life in the outside world. And that adaptation, it happens even within one single feeding. It's wild. It's like a perfectly designed two-course meal. The feed begins with what's called fore milk. It's watery, it quenches thirst. Then it transitions to hind milk, which is much richer in fat and calories, making sure the baby feels full and gets all that energy they need to grow. Okay, we've talked a lot about the baby, and for good reason. But that's only half the equation. The act of breastfeeding itself has some really profound and lasting benefits for the mother, too. So let's flip the script and look at that side of the story. So, right after birth, breastfeeding triggers this release of oxytocin. You've probably heard it called the love hormone because it promotes bonding, but it also has a super important physical job to do. It helps the uterus contract back down to its normal size, and that dramatically reduces the risk of dangerous postpartum bleeding. And hey, just like for the baby, the benefits for mom stretch far into the future. The data here is really solid. Breastfeeding is linked to a statistically significant lower risk for several major diseases, including some types of cancer and even heart disease down the road. Now, with all these incredible benefits, we absolutely have to acknowledge that for many, this journey isn't easy, not at all. So let's zoom out from the biology for a second and look at the real world challenges, and more importantly, what we can do to create a more supportive world. The barriers are very real, from not having support at work to cultural issues to medical problems. But here's the thing. For every one of these hurdles, there are solutions. We're talking better public policies, community education to break down stigmas, and making sure everyone has access to professional help like lactation counselors.
And supporting breastfeeding, it isn't just about one mother and one baby. It has this huge ripple effect across society. It saves families money, it lowers public healthcare costs because healthier babies mean fewer doctor visits, and ultimately, it helps build the foundation of healthier, more connected communities.
Now, it's really important to say that infant formula is a safe and, for some, a necessary and life-saving alternative when breastfeeding isn't possible. But it's also important to understand that it's a nutritional substitute. It just can't replicate those complex living parts, the antibodies, the enzymes, the actual living cells that make breast milk so incredibly unique.
So, all of this leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? Knowing everything we've just talked about, the incredible biology, the profound benefits for babies, for mothers, and for society as a whole, how can we all work together to build a world that truly supports this vital, natural start to life? That's definitely something for all of us to think about.